Yo, what up, dog? This your boy with the host, Mr. Trap Carson. We got another video here. This is Tanya. Now, this is a young lady here that's talking about a serious matter. She's taking it very serious. I appreciate her video. Tanya, shouts out to you. Did a great job. Because this is a serious matter. And she's pointing out some things that are very specific and detailed. And let's get it rolling.
Children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right. I've been touched sexually.
York's case was reported as the largest prosecution for child assault ever directed at a single person in the history of the United States, both in terms of number of victims and number of incidents. Sonetta called polight baby Dr. York.
See, when you see, I'm speaking on behalf of the children or the people that had to testify or that testified.
That had to testify based on what that he.
All right, so let's talk about this real quick. This video right here is, I found it posted in 2017. I don't know if the video is older or younger than that. The person right here on the right is Brother Polight. This person right here, though he's an adult right now, when he was younger, he alleges that he was assaulted by Dr. AkA York. For those of you who don't know, let's go back out. Let's go back out and show, right? So Dr. York, if you just look up Dr. York Nuwabian, Dr. York was this guy. This dude right here. He created a movement apparently many, many years ago talking about getting back to our African roots, becoming sovereign, stuff like that. I actually had a family member that got caught up in his cult. And I took my family member, when I lived in Georgia, I took my family member to the compound that this guy had because I wanted to just kind of keep an eye on my family members, see what was going on, etc. This is a distant relative, right, who happened to be visiting America and was interested in this whole Nuwabian thing, right? And I took him to this compound and I had a look around and I got creepy vibes on the compound myself. It was weird. There was a lot of weird, it just was a weird energy there. It wasn't a peaceful, healing energy like when you go up to the Omega Institute in New York. It wasn't that type of vibe. It was weird. They had these paper mache totem poles and these paper mache you know how because I went to Egypt before I went to Egypt. And when I went to Egypt, they had these, what is it called? The tall images of people who are shaped like bird heads and all this other stuff. You know, the whole Egyptian feel kind of thing. So it was a lot of that stuff, except it was made out of paper mache. It wasn't carved out of wood. It wasn't...
Okay, pause. That's besides the fact of these serious allegations with these rape charges and him trying to deflect that. Regardless, a man was convicted of rape and that was terrible. It shouldn't matter when somebody had to tell or what time they needed to step up. They were children. Children are scared. They don't tell everything. Let's go.
Set with cement. It was like paper mache. It was bizarre. And they had like this little circle thing where you walk around in this circle and it's supposed to be healing for you. But I just got a real creepy vibe there. And it was weird. It was just weird. They claimed that they were sovereign on this huge piece of land. And after we had left there, it turns out that this guy, this person right here, so he's been around a long time and he's been seen with all different types of people in the music industry and et cetera, et cetera. And so this is him on the right here, this guy right here with the hat on and all of that. So they say that he has done record-breaking things for Black people, that he became a Liberian citizen and all this other stuff, right? He taught and did all of this stuff talking about Black people having their own, but then it turns out that he may have had a thirst for youngins, not even just there's words you can't say on YouTube. I wish that we could, but he had this thirst for children, and he ended up hurting a lot of children, so many that the number of people who came forward to testify against him was profound. It was a windfall, and he is currently serving 135 years under the jail. They threw away the key, and he in court was like, I'm sovereign, you have no control over me, and all this other stuff. Well, they got control over your ass now, don't they, sir? Because you are under the jail. You will never get out in this lifetime, ever, right? So nonetheless, this man who is currently serving his sentence is the mentor of Polight, right? So I want you to keep that in mind. So when we see this video here, I want you to keep in mind that this guy, the one on the left, right? The one on the left says that he lived on the compound. He was there as a child, and he was assaulted by Dr. York, who's the guy we just saw. And so listen to how Polight treats him. He even starts hollering at him at one point. Let's continue.
He did do something to him.
Well, I say had to testify because some people didn't testify. So some people felt it in that they had to do this. Like, it's something that they had to do. For me, it felt like it was something that I had to do. Because one, like I told you, both my sisters went through the same thing I went through.
And
both of my older sisters.
Do you mind sharing? I don't know nothing.
Sharing what? Okay, well, both of my sisters been molested.
By who?
By AkA York. By Pops, Barbara, you know, Esau, Mom Esau, whatever. You know, he has sex with them. And
At what ages?
At what ages? I mean, you know, if you want to get the accurate number, you can ask them.
Around what age? You know, I ain't trying
13,
to be
14, 7, 8. You know, and I will only speak for myself as far as the personal thing that I've been through.
Of course, you.
And as far as if, you know, and I don't want to get graphic. One, you know, okay, I'm a dude. I'm not going to be walking around saying that I've been molested, this, and that happened. As a man, you don't want to be going around saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when in my situation or the way I grew up, I was ready to move on. I left in 2001. I was ready to just live my life, move on, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The people started doing the investigations and stuff. The FBI started doing the investigations, started trying to get statements from people. Both my sisters went ahead and gave their statements.
Yeah.
I still had nothing to do with it. No statement, no nothing. When I realized, okay, they're about to go to court. You know, and I went through the same thing that they went through. Like, I'm my mother's only son. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the man of the family. You know what I'm saying? My sisters were going to stand up for themselves, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well, and then that's when I gave my statement, and that's when I decided that, you know, that I was going to go ahead and do it. Nobody wants to see they family go get locked away. So I really understand how hard it is for people that's deeply involved in it also. And people got to understand, I was born and raised in it too, so I understand.
Pause. I just want y'all to know that I ain't never been raped. I ain't never been molested. Well, I did have an incident when I was at the babysitter house. A young girl that was like a year older than me, she used to want to touch me, but that's another story. But anyway, I would say looking at that young man's face and telling the story about how he was molested by a grown man, looking at this man tell this story, it looked like he doesn't want to tell the story now. It looks like it's hurting him now. If you look at me, I mean, to me, looking at him, looking at that man's face, it looks like he's a hurt man. And he's trying to give you his best report on how he finally had the confidence to say something.
And from inside out also, what it feels like not to have this person around still giving leadership. You know, so it's not no stranger, no random person that's saying, oh, this happened. I mean, You know, this stuff, like, I was 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was upstate New York.
So with that said, the young man said that even with him telling on Mr. York, he said it's still hard for him not to have that leader around you anymore. So with that said, this is not like no hate speech. He doesn't have any malice against Mr. York. This just seems like a brother that was raped by somebody that he really looked up to, and he had to tell. He didn't even say that he wanted to tell. He felt that he had to. Because after a while, he probably figured out, he got grown and he figured out that it was wrong that he was being raped. Because as a kid, he probably didn't know better. So that's the one thing about kids, man. They probably didn't tell because they probably thought it was cool. But once they got older, they realized that that was wrong and you shouldn't do that to kids. A lot of kids don't know better. Brother Polight. Man, let's go, man.
After Brooklyn, you know, upstate New York, when he first, you know, touched me or whatever, molested, you know. And so from 7 to 14, 7 years that I went through this, you know what I'm saying? And that's my story.
Would you say there's been over 20 children molested by Dr. York?
I would say so. I mean, I would say that it was, you know,
that's
if I
terrible.
Could confirm
7 to 14, 7 years. That's terrible that he was molested.
It'll be about 15
that's terrible.
to 20 people.
That's horrible.
Obviously, if over 15 to 20 children were being molested, we have to now say.
I want you, okay, so listen, this is about to get hairy. If you're triggered by this type of thing, you can turn down the volume, and when you see this video off and you know what, I will pause it again and let you know when it's over, or when this video is off the screen, or you can just jump out of the video and come back, because it's about to get very grotesque right now, because he's about to start blaming children.
Relax. It's not gonna get that. It's not gonna get grotesque. He's just gonna be deflecting the issue, trying to say that kids should have spoke up early, but my point is they couldn't. They were under the wrong impression. A leader, somebody that normally tells them to do the right thing, was doing something wrong to them, and I believe that they thought it was the right thing, and then they grew up realizing it was wrong, and they needed to tell somebody. Still having a great relationship with that individual. You know, a lot of people don't figure out things wrong, especially when you're a kid. You're confused. It's a kid. That's why you can't have them around people. Yeah, look, that's why you don't have your kids around people that may do something confusing, because you're like, oh no, I can't have my kids around them because they're confusing. I don't want them to confuse my child. But when you find out it was someone that you trusted, that's the messed up part. So with that said, Brother Polight is saying that, kind of like what she said, he's putting the blame on the children versus saying it doesn't matter because they were children, and at a certain age you have to think. He's a smart brother. He should be able to think about this. But for some odd reason, he's using deflection and he's blaming the children. Let's go. It's sad, y'all.
This man said, he was 7. Think about a 7-year-old child. Think about the lack of awareness, the innocence, the joviality of a 7-year-old. We're talking about first grade. We're talking about with the big book bag on, and, you know, going to their classes and learning how to just write straight. 7 years old. 7. Groomed in a world where this man stated that he was sent here with knowledge from some other planet in some alternate universe. So this man with this celestial knowledge, who have helped so many, who was doing so much in the community that people looked up to, took advantage of his position and hurt children. I want you to listen and pay attention, because when I titled this video that this dude Polight is behaving as guilty people do, I want you to pay attention and see how he treats this person who is alleging that when he was a child that he was hurt. All right? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look. So go out and come back in if this is, listen, protect your peace, because I know that there are things that are triggering for people. So protect your peace. Let's continue going forward.
Hey, how come the adults wasn't saying nothing? Shouldn't they be locked up with Dr.
All right.
York?
So now we have to
now say how.
He's going to give a false equivalence and talk about why aren't the adults locked up? Why didn't the children say anything if something was really happening? All these people. Now he's saying that the parents should be locked up. Let's listen. Let's listen.
Obviously, if over 15 to 20 children were being molested, we have to now say how come the adults wasn't saying nothing? Shouldn't they be locked up with Dr.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Now that, Brother Polight, as a smart brother, why would you even want to put any of that hardship or whatever them kids went through on them parents? Why would you want to do that? Especially if they weren't there. He didn't say his mother was there or his father was there. He said the man was watching him have sex with another child. He was there. He told his mother that he was there. And no, these parents shouldn't be locked up with a man that was locked up just as much as a man that was molesting their child. But maybe they need counseling because they don't understand the seriousness of when your child is trying to tell you something. Just like this grown man is looking with this facial expression on his face, trying to tell Brother Polight a story. Now look at him. He looks confused. Like, what's Brother Polight doing? Let's go.
York too? How come they're free to testify about it?
You understand the adults were separated from their children. So you had the girls in one house, the boys in one house, the women in one place, the brothers in one place. Everybody was separated. So it wasn't no house.
Listen to how the man set the place up. Listen. He gave whatever reason it is that he needed to separate the children from their parents, to separate the men from the women, so that he could have access to this precious commodity. Listen, people who have this type of sickness are very cunning. They're very cunning. They know how to be in the space that they need to be to get their supply. What is their supply? Children. So they get these jobs at places that they know that children are going to be. They set themselves up to be very charming and trustworthy. The reason why people trust their children with these people is not because they're walking around like, no, they're walking around like, I just love children. Well, maybe not like that. Maybe not like, because that's creepy too. That's creepy too. So he set up this compound so that the children were on their own. The parents were separated from the children. So he created the environment rife for his abuse.
House with a family, and then you could recognize when your child is gone.
You mean to tell the world that none of these children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right? I've been touched sexually.
Listen, you hear how he's positing it, right? I'll rewind that for you. You mean to tell me none of these children had enough sense? What sense is a 7-year-old going to have? Why is he positing it as, look at the look on the face of the man who he's talking to, who is disclosing that he had been hurt by this man. Look at his face. I want you to see his face.
Oh, she right? Why is he talking about the sense and how much sense did it have? Now, we all know that's why children have parents around. because children don't have a lot of sense. They need direction. And a man like Mr. Malachi York was a man that they felt was giving great direction to their children, but really he was directing them to a path of just basically being effed up. Because I feel that once you molest a kid or touch a kid, you effed them up.
As he's saying this, look at his face.
She right.
How do you continue talking to a person
right.
who posits that you didn't have enough sense to come forward as a 7-year-old child?
Real talk. She
a
right.
person who is in the presence of a man who is positioned as God in your world.
She right.
This is sick.
It's messed up.
And so when he comes in, and so when is it any surprise?
Sick, messed up.
Is it any surprise that years later, now somebody is coming out saying he's hurt them? Is it any surprise? The way that he is blaming children for not having quote unquote sense. Let's continue.
I've been sexually abused. Not one child out of all these children. None of these children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right. I've been touched sexually. I've been sexually abused. Not one child out of all these children. It could have stopped so long ago if just one child or just one adult. What caused all of this to come out? First, you hear nothing from nobody.
Yeah.
You hear nothing from nobody. Then you hear something from everybody, all at the same time.
They might not have been the medium to talk to anybody about the situation.
Not even their parents.
I mean, that's why, of course. I could have told my mother.
We chose not to.
It's not that I chose not to. To really explain it would really take a lot. But I mean, you're not really yourself when you're not, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no esteem. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no. You know what I'm saying? You can't even face, like, my mother had to, when she found out from my sister and she came to me and asked me about it, and I still really couldn't even tell her. I had to say, well...
Hey, Paul, I just got to say that it's disrespectful for Brother Polight to question him like he's on trial. That's not cool, bro. Like, you can't be questioning that man while he's telling a story about being raped, and you questioning him like he's on trial. Look at that man's face. As much as a smart brother as you are terrible for questioning that man about him being molested with a man that went to jail for 35 years or more for being for molesting children. The man that he's talking about is convicted. Okay. You think this brother feel like telling you that he's been raped? He's feeling like something wrong happened and he's just now figuring it out. He had figured it out that is wrong. That's why. He probably never had a story to tell before until he figured out that it was wrong. He probably was like, he don't like it. Probably was confused, young. You can't keep on saying them kids ain't have enough sense to tell somebody. Brother Polight. It's terrible. Let's go.
I had sex with the girl and he was there. And that was my way of telling her that, yeah.
So, he was...
Well, I had sex with the girl and he was there. And that was my way of telling her that, yeah.
So.
Let's go back.
And she came to me and asked me about it. And you not, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no esteem. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no. You know what I'm saying? You can't even face, like, my mother had to, when she found out from my sister and she came to me and asked me about it. And I still really couldn't even tell her. I had to say, well, I had sex with the girl and he was there. And that was my way of telling her that, yeah.
So, he was sicking children onto other children. He said to his mother, I had intercourse with the girl and he was there. So he was over there playing these reindeer games, whatever the hell he was doing, having children mounting one another as he watched. And you see this guy. Come on, this is too much.
It happened, you know what I'm saying? But that's when the initial conversation, and this is like 2 weeks before we left. It was something I was under. I couldn't tell my mom. I didn't tell nobody. it was something that held me to not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked up to him as my dad. Because I looked up to him as the person that he was. I thought he was a God figure. I thought he, you know, and all those reasons, like, you know, I'm trying to like see why is this going on? What's the significance? I'm young. I don't even know what really in the sex, and I don't.
Why do you think he's locked up for 135 years, underground 60 feet, in a super max penitentiary with no one with a case likened to his own, amongst cannibals? Not because what you think he should be locked up for. Why you think he's locked up?
Well, I mean, to answer your question in the way that I think you're asking it, you know what I'm saying? Because one, you have a black leader that was getting black people together.
So listen now. Listen. So this guy, he'd already been groomed from when he was a child. Now he has this person who is, you can tell from the way that he's asking the question that he's on the side of the predator. And he's like, why do you think he's under there? And he's like, well, to answer the question in the way that you're asking it. So now he goes back into his cult programming. Listen to what he's about to say. He goes back into his cult programming and starts repeating regurgitated answers. Listen. Look at his poor face.
Should be locked up for. Why you think he's locked up?
Well, I mean, to answer your question in the way that I think you're asking it, you know what I'm saying? Because one, you have a black leader that was getting black people together and was building a sovereign nation.
Tell me if this is something you believe. That's not what I want to hear. What do you personally believe? Dealing with the facts of the matter, not denying you of your experience, but based on what we all know, what is necessary to lock a person up when you accuse them of these type of things.
What I know from history is that whenever you have a black leader that's uplifting the people, that's doing something for the community, that's bringing people together, and that's building people and elevating people, then they get taken down. You know what I'm saying? And he wouldn't have been taken.
Hold up, pause. Why Brother Polight cut that man off and tell him that's not what he wants to hear? What's going on here? I thought the brother was telling his story. So basically, Brother Polight has a different agenda of what he wants this brother to tell him. He don't want this brother to be straightforward and give him his story. He wants the brother to change his story up and tell him something different. Let's just go back.
You believe. That's not what I want to hear.
Listen. Look at his poor face.
He looking like
locked
you bitch ass
Why you
nigga.
think he's locked up?
Well, I mean, to answer your question in the way that I think you're asking it, you know what I'm saying? Because one, you have a black leader that was getting black people together and was building a sovereign nation.
Tell me if this is something you believe. That's not what I want to hear.
Listen, man. You asked him, what does he think? It doesn't matter what he believes, Brother Polight. It doesn't matter what you want to hear. You asked the man to tell you what he thinks. Why does he think he's in there? He's giving you his answer. Why don't you let him speak?
What do you personally believe? Dealing with the facts of the matter, not.
Listen, man. So Brother Polight want to ask the man, what does he personally believe? It seems to me like the man personally believes that he personally has been raped, and personally he couldn't tell at a young age because he personally didn't think it was wrong because it was a leader or somebody that he trusted, somebody that he believed in. And he probably didn't want to tell on somebody that he believed in and trusted like a father figure and put them in a bad position. But maybe after he matured, he gained knowledge, manly knowledge. He believed that this is not right, and he said that he had to tell somebody. Matter of fact, his sister told first. He tried to tell his mama. So with you sitting up here, Brother Polight, telling this man that that's not what you want to hear, it doesn't matter what you want to hear. He was here to tell his story, and it's hard enough him being here on this camera talking to your crackhead looking ass, telling this story about him being raped. Inconsiderate fuck. That's messed up. He talks about he don't want to be negative. This is negative as fuck. This is all time negative, brother. Telling that man that that's not what he wants to hear. Listen, man. You niggas need to really check this nigga. G-check, dog, on everything. 5-man. on everything. And I ain't even a gangbanger. But that nigga need that. This is disrespectful. Look at that young man's face telling him about his rape. And this man telling him that's not what he wants to hear. Now let's go.
Denying you of your experience, but based on what we all know, what is necessary to lock a person up when you accuse them of these type of
What I
things.
know from history is that whenever you have a black leader that's uplifting the people.
It ain't no accusations no more, dog. He's guilty. They said 100 and something years in maximum security. It ain't no more allegations, dog. The young man's telling a story about being raped. You need to chill out.
That's doing something for the community, that's bringing people together, and that's building people and elevating people, then they get taken down. You know what I'm saying? And he wouldn't have been taken down, and he hasn't been taken down until they found something that to take him down with. If he threw everything away by molesting kid, did he really care about everybody else? This is what I have to live with. I have to live with how do I come across the people that's in the knowledge and even vibe with them and talk to them on a regular level, and people looking at me one way.
Nah, that's all good. You can always come to a class of ours.
That's cool, but you know what I'm saying. But it is. But see, the thing is that
it don't make you a bad
person. At the end of the day, people's always gonna have his word over anybody else's word because that's all they know.
No, at the end of the day, he's locked up, so obviously they took your word over everyone else's. It doesn't matter. Like I told you, if we say he's innocent, when he's still locked up in prison, your word accounted for everything.
What the F is going on?
What in the fuck is going on? Yeah. What in the fuck is going on? Listen, Brody. Listen, man. So basically, you telling me you still rooting for a rapist that got 100 and something years, man, for messing with kids. I think you just need to let that go. I think, however you feel, your personal opinion, especially with a man that's trying to tell you his story of personally being raped. See, I believe that brother Polight never been raped. Or maybe he's been raped. Because either he's been raped and he's trying to deflect and he's getting a little mad because it reminds him of being raped, or he's doing the raping and he's trying to deflect because he's trying to make his man look good that's locked up, his mentor look good that's locked up, because he still supports the raping. Or maybe he just supports AkA York no matter what people say about him. No matter how many kids say they got raped. And the kid, that man, and those other kids that said they were raped, and that man in front of them telling the story, it's just a story. That man lying, just taking his word for it. You know, this, so I would like to understand, what proof do you need? Like, if a man is telling you that he was raped, he's coming to you telling, what more do you need? I would like Brother Polight to explain that. What more evidence do you need? Besides all the kids and this man right in front of you that really don't want to be here, that told you don't have no confidence, you don't have no self-esteem after you've been raped. I bet you feel like a little bitch ass nigga. How can you feel like a man? How can you feel like a woman? You didn't have a choice.
On. He's hollering at this man. Now look at his body language. The dude is like, I don't know what to say. This happened to me and you're hollering at me. And he's like, it don't matter if we say he innocent, and he put up the black power fist. Y'all were accounted for everything. Really? What is this? What is this? I'll rewind that part for you. For the people who are here, and look, I just want to look at his body language. Look. He is man-spreaded, legs wide open, arm on the back of the chair, taking up all of the space, right? And hollering at this guy. I just want you to see. I'll rewind a little bit of that for you so you can see again. Look at what is his face telling you? What is Michael Nowak's face? Because I don't like calling him Brother Polight. What is Michael Nowak's face telling you?
Nigga,
he looked like
either She said he looked like Ike Turner. Hell no. He looked like either he's been raped and he's still with the raping, supporting Malachi York, or he hasn't been raped and he's doing the raping, still supporting Malachi York, or he's been raped and still raping, still supporting Malachi York, or he's never been raped and he's not doing any raping, but no matter what anybody says about Brother Malachi York, no matter how many people said they've been raped, no matter if there's a young man in front of you trying his best to tell you it's not clear, but he's trying his best to tell you about how he was trying to gain strength to tell you that his mentor, father figure, was raping him. Doesn't matter what they say, he still supports Brother Malachi York. Let's get back to this.
Turner right here. Look his body language, lunging up forward from the chair. Look.
Right.
Look.
She right. Check out the body language.
Look his body language.
Look
as
at them
he's
eyebrows.
peering down at this guy. Eyebrows and forehead furrowed.
Yep.
I'm sorry, this is just
terrible.
This is sick.
It is.
This is sick.
It's fucked up.
His word over anybody else's word because that's all they know.
You know, at the end of the day, he's locked up, so obviously they took y'all word over everyone else's. It doesn't matter, like I told you, if we say he's innocent, when he's still locked up in prison. Y'all word accounted for everything.
But I can't.
It doesn't matter with the fist if we say he's innocent. This brother, he's not seeming too smart today. Sounds like he might be with the raping, or he's been raped, or he hasn't been raped. And he just supports whatever Brother Malachi York says, no matter who's talking about they've been raped. So no matter how many people say they've been raped, he's like, we're still rooting that he's innocent. Man, I don't care who said they've been raped. It's even a man saying he's been raped. Now, come on, man. Why would a man want to do this? Why would a man want to come out and lie about being raped? Who does that, y'all?
Go back. You know what I'm saying? I can only face what's in front of me. And everything that's in front of me, I see people that's being misled. I see people that's under the impression. And
he looked like he might want to whoop this nigga ass, but he's there with people. Because he looked like his knees is ready to jump up. His is laid back. He could just jump up and just whoop on him real quick for being disrespectful about his situation. Because he's being raped is a very, very serious situation. Especially if somebody telling you it happened to them.
Even though
being misled by what? Because people are saying Doc is being railroaded. That people are saying none of this has to do with the case as far as the government is concerned. The government don't give a damn about the accusations.
Saying that
are you hearing what I'm saying?
You got people saying that kids haven't been molested.
Why is
real talk? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Let's get to her. What's she about to say? She's doing a great job.
he hollering at this victim?
Why is he hollering at that man?
A person who testified under oath, under threat of perjury.
Terrible.
Look at his body language. What do you see him, right? What is his stance telling you? What is his demeanor, his hollering? What is all of that communicating to you? And then you have this guy here disarmed, leaning back away from him as he's hollering at him. We can see that again.
That's under the impression, and even though
being misled by what? Because people are saying Doc is being railroaded. That people are saying none of this has to do with the case as far as the government is concerned. The government don't give a damn, so obviously they took y'all word over everyone else's. It doesn't matter, like I told you, if we say he's innocent, when he's still locked up in prison. Y'all word accounted for everything.
But I can't go back. You know what I'm saying? I can only face what's in front of me. And everything that's in front of me, I see people that's being misled. I see people that's under the impression, and even though
being misled by what? Because people are saying Doc is being railroaded. That people are saying none of this has to do with the case as far as the government is concerned. The government don't give a damn about the accusations.
Saying that
are you hearing what I'm saying?
You got people saying that kids haven't been molested. I can't see what you're seeing. I can't see the. I know what happened to me. I know what he did. I know what kind of person he is. You know what I'm saying? So
what kind of person he is? That's a question I want to ask you. What kind of person is Dr.
I mean, you get what you're saying.
So now look. I mean, look at his stance. Look, you all see him. You see him. He's like, what kind of person is And so now he goes back into his programmed.
So basically, Brother Polight done put this man on trial. He done, instead of coming to get this man's story and try to get some clarification on Dr. York and clarification on whether or not this young man was raped and get clarification on how this man was raped and get him to tell his story. Since the man was guilty, if you're going to have a man telling the story, let him tell his story without him having to be questioned down like he's in a debate at court. This man has gone through something dramatical, some trauma, and you're playing him like he's a liar. Now, I'm not all that bright. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but those are allegations to get your ass whooped. I mean, I would just say, because a lot of people that go through things that are hurt, you don't know. I would say you should treat them like very kindly. I wouldn't want to upset people that have been through things. I wouldn't want to battle them, but quite obviously, Brother Polight has a different issue with this brother. He wants to question this brother down and basically say he's a liar. And they're still rooting for Brother Malachi York, and you're a liar, and your rape story is just a story and it never happened to you, basically. So basically this brother's sitting up just wasting his time and just playing with him. And basically he's trying to prove to the world how it's people that's lying on Brother Malachi York and this brother's lying about being raped. And I don't know why a brother would come on here, like she said, took an oath, just to let the world know that he's been raped. If he wasn't. Let's go.
His programmed responses. Listen to what he says, what type of person. The dude who has been accused of not only hurting him, but hurting many children who people are defending.
That's a question I want to ask you. What kind of person is Dr. York?
I mean, you get what you see. You get what you see.
Tell me,
but
who is he to
what
you?
People didn't see is also the
I asked about other people. I want to know about you personally. I want to get into your mind. I want to know, what is he to you? Who is he to you?
Who he is to me right now? He's somebody that did a lot of things great, but had his flaws and didn't correct those flaws. And he had years and years and years to correct those flaws. He didn't correct those flaws. Now I came back and now he's incarcerated. Should he be in there? Should he be out? Someone like him shouldn't be incarcerated if they uplifted the community and doing what he did. But if you're gonna do that and on top of that still do the wrong thing for years and years and years, then you definitely shouldn't be out on it.
And then this young man is giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, he raped us, but he kept doing it for years and years and years. This is somebody that didn't clean up their act. He's giving them he's saying that he loved Brother Malachi York that much. He's just not going to outright say that it was wrong. He should have never been doing that. No, he's still has so much love for the brother. He's saying that the brother had a chance to clean his act up for years and he didn't do it. And we were still loving him. It's basically like they really wanted him to stop, but they didn't know how to tell him. And they was hoping that as smart as he was, and as much as he wanted to help people, they were thinking that he would have stopped and learned over the years. Like how he been teaching people to grow over the years. They thought he was going to grow out of it, but he didn't. And then he got baby Malachi York on here, baby York on here. It's like he's doing what Malachi York did. It's like he got the recipe that the rich whiteys and them got for the children. Let's go.
Streets. That's if I was the devil, the perfect devil is the one who's gonna be a pastor, a preacher, or the one doing the right thing, and actually the one doing the wrong thing and send you to hell. That's the perfect devil right there. If I was the devil right now, I'd be telling you to do the right thing. I'd be telling you to live your life this way, and I'll be sending you right to hell. The devil knows the gospel as well as any pastor or preacher. So if
you can't tell me he ain't break that down. He said that man's like the devil. He said he knows everything to help you, everything good, the gospel. He knows everything that God knows. But then he's sending you straight to hell. The devil got you. That was a great explanation.
If the devil is going to do his job, what better way to do it than to have everybody lifting themselves or doing the right thing, and in actuality, it's like they're going up, but they're going this way. It's not just up. It's like they're going up and they're going astray. You know what I'm saying? That's the only really way that the devil could do his job, is to deceive people into thinking that he's actually God, to deceive people into thinking that he's actually Christ. That's why they say you will have false prophets and false messiahs. I would respect a wolf. If I was a sheep, I would respect a wolf that approached me and tried to hunt me down than a wolf that came in sheep clothing.
My whole argument in this whole situation is, should people be locked up based on what people believe? I got the right to be angry. You know why? Because the Lord promises me something different. The Lord promises me that we will lock people up beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's what the Lord promises me.
Yeah. But in this case, it was up to 12 people to have that reasonable doubt or not. And those 12 people made the decision.
It's not. So what's the point?
If you want to fight
it's your matter of opinion if you would have
fight for it for another reason. Don't fight for it because he's innocent of a molesting kid.
Let's say he molested 1,000 children. Factually.
Okay.
Genetic evidence and everything. Things that we don't deny scientifically. We say, wow, okay, true. If someone was to ask me, would you still worship him as your Most High, acknowledge him as your Most High God? I would have to. I don't identify with everything he does there, much like I believe most Christians don't identify with everything their God does, because it says their God is a jealous God. And some Christians would tell you it's not right to be jealous. And some would tell you that, they shouldn't be vengeful, but in the Bible tells you the Most High is a vengeful God. And it tells you shouldn't hate, but it tells you that God loved Jacob.
So they're saying that this interview was done in 2010. So this interview is a lot older than we thought. I hope this young man is okay. But you hear what he's saying, right? He's like, I would still have to worship this guy as my God, even if he hurt 1,000 children, saying that one person's word doesn't account. No, you can be convicted on people's word. If people come forward and they testify that you did this thing.
This shit is terrible. I don't know. Do y'all know this about Brother Polight? This is how he feels about rape victims. Forget whether they were Malachi Yorks or whatnot. Period. Anybody that's in a higher position and has rape victims, preachers. I'm just saying. The brother's telling his story. He came here. This is some insensitive stuff. It shouldn't even matter. Like, he was 7.
Tell you it's not right to be jealous. And some would tell you that, they shouldn't be vengeful, but in the Bible.
Why is he talking about jealousy? Why is he talking about it? I ain't gonna tell you it ain't right to be jealous. What he trying to say? That man jealous of him?
Christians don't identify with everything their God does, because it says their God is a jealous God. And some Christians would tell you it's not right to be jealous. And some would tell you that, they shouldn't be vengeful, but in the Bible tells you the Most High is a vengeful God. And it tells you shouldn't hate, but it tells you that God loved Jacob.
So they're saying that this interview was done in 2010. So this interview is a lot older than we thought. I hope this young man is okay. But you hear what he's saying, right? He's like, I would still have to worship this guy as my God, even if he hurt.
That tell you
Have that reasonable doubt or not, and those 12 people made the decision.
It's not. So what's the point?
If you want to fight
it's your matter of opinion if you would have
fight for it for another reason. Don't fight for it because he's innocent of a molesting kid.
Let's say he molested 1,000 children. Factually.
Okay.
Genetic evidence and everything. Things that we don't deny scientifically. We say, wow, okay, true. If someone was to ask me, would you still worship him as your Most High, acknowledge him as your Most High God? I would have to. I don't identify with everything.
Oh, this nigga sick. Whoa. Reverse. He said factual. The nigga evidence. Listen, man. You can't be worshiping no child rapist that's factual and talking about he's the Most High. Now, brother, I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I don't believe that raping children is the way to get to the Most High. I believe that the whole Most High is an individual understanding of yourself, and it comes with your creation of what you can create. Not harming and molesting, confused, small-minded or non-educated little children That's what we're worshiping? He said if they raped 1,000 kids factually, if he raped 1,000 kids factually with evidence, and they could tell, he's still gonna worship him. Man, that's sick. Now that's sick. I would think he's with the raping, y'all. That's what I would think now. Let's go.
And he does there, much like I believe most Christians don't identify with everything their God does, because it says their God is a jealous God. And some Christians would tell you it's not right to be jealous. And some would tell you that, it shouldn't be vengeful, but then the Bible tells you the Most High is a vengeful God. And it tells you shouldn't hate, but it tells you that God loved Jacob.
So they're saying that this interview was done in 2010. So this interview is a lot older than we thought. I hope this young man is okay. But you hear what he's saying, right? He's like, I would still have to worship this guy as my God, even if he hurt 1,000 children, saying that one person's word doesn't account. No, you can be convicted on people's word. If people come forward and they testify that you did this thing, you can be convicted on that. I mean, how many more people need to come out and come forward with credible testimony? Come on.
And he hated Esau. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a difference between being a proud Nubian and saying that he's innocent. Okay, that's two different people. I could be a proud Nubian because I was born in Nuwapu, but it's two different kinds of people.
Are you got people Nubian, if that's the case?
I can be. But
so he's like, are you a proud Nuwabian if that's the case? So if you're going to be proud, you have to just keep your mouth shut and not talk about the leader that's hurting people. And this man is like, look, he had enough time to change his ways. He didn't change his ways. He continued hurting people. I just don't understand. Why is Michael Nowak sitting there doing this? Why is he badgering this man who is there telling his story, who is there coming out and
I'm gonna tell you why. Evidence is all right there. He's not really there to help that man. If Brother Polight was really about helping people, we will all see right now that he was trying to help this man. But what we all are witnessing, he's trying to help a baby rapist. He's trying to help a child molester. He's trying to help a man that went to prison for raping multiple kids. Even this young man that's giving us testimony about how he's been raped. That's who he's trying to help. Instead of helping the man, a man that's coming to you, and that's very hard to do. Any man that's telling something sensitive about themselves, that happened to themselves, that made them less of a man, that probably made them less of who they are today. They had a lot to overcome to even tell this story. Brother Polight ain't trying to help this brother. So all you supporters of Brother Polight, he may have some good information. The information may be truthful. But when it comes to leaders in higher positions that's in the same field as him and they rape children, he's going to still support them and follow them. No matter who testifies and says that they're raped, no matter factual evidence or not, he's still going to follow them.
Speaking about the pain that he's going through, and he has this man glaring. Look at him. Hovering near him, glaring him down in a fight posture on the seat. I mean, come on. Let's continue.
How can I be a proud Nubian if the Nubians are saying that he's in different kinds of people? Proud Nubian because I was born in Nuwapu, but it's two different kinds of people.
Are you got people Nubian, if that's the case?
I can be, but how can I be a proud Nubian if the Nubians are saying that he's innocent and I'm saying that this happened to me?
Yeah,
so now it is. You see how we sitting down talking? That's. But see, the thing is that now is my word against the master teacher's word, and whose word is they gonna take?
I know one thing the master teacher always taught is that when you're looking at the sides of the truth, there's his side, her side, his or her.
Listen here, man. The brother's trying to give you an understanding of people and higher power, or how they can take advantage of people, and especially children, and the effects of it, and how he's giving you his story of what happened to him. Now, this ain't the time to give him a lecture on what Malachi York thinks. He doesn't need a lecture about the man that he's accusing raped him about what he thinks about something. We're not talking about Brother Malachi York and what he would think. He doesn't need that right now. He knows what that brother thought. He's the one that said the brother didn't get himself together. He had time to get himself together. So while he was being raped, he thought the brother was going to get himself together. So he understands a lot of the knowledge. He has so much of it, he didn't even want to tell on the brother in the beginning because he appreciated that knowledge. So Brother Polight, you don't need to give him any more information about what Brother Malachi York would say or think. He knows the information. I see you don't like to help brothers out that's been raped. You're very insensitive. And you need to be G-checked for this and get you a 5-man. It should be some violence happening to you. Yeah, Brother Polight, I will say that. You need judgment. Just for disrespecting this man, somebody needs to stand up for him and all them kids that's being raped. And for future kids, because he said even if they did it and it was facts, evidence, he's still going to follow someone that rapes children.
Side versus his or her side, but really in actuality it's just the truth. Your side, their side, and just the truth. There's only one truth.
This was horrifying, y'all.
So basically, everything that man told him wasn't true at all, because he said there's only one truth. So basically, no matter how many people say they've been raped, got raped, have a story, trying to explain to you how it feels, the people in higher positions, when you look up to them as a mentor, father figure, mother figure, how they took advantage of you and how you loved them so much you gave them a chance to get their act together, but they just kept raping. They would not stop, but you loved them. They raping and they saving at the same time. And you finally tell. And Brother Polight ain't trying to help you. Evil.
This was horrifying. This was traumatizing. This is why I gave you all the trigger warning before we got into it. I can't even imagine what this young man was going through listening to this. I can't even imagine. In the next snippet, we're going to show a little bit of Sonetta referring to Michael Nowak, Brother Polight, as AkA Baby Dr. York. If you'd like, you can sort through my videos with the word polight, and you can see all of the videos that I've done on him. That way you can get greater context. But for now, this is just bonus, which comes from another video. Renintent, AkA Tashia, right? Listen.
Don't do it. Don't make me fucking do it, nigga. Huh? Little Dr. York, don't make me do it, nigga. Little fucking Dr. York.
Okay, who's Dr. York? So now you all are like, all right, well, who is Dr. York? This guy is calling, what's his name? Little Dr. York. Let's jump over again. Let's open up a Google web page. We pulled this up the other day for you all, but we shall show a little bit of it again today, right? So Dr. York, he's the leader of this nation called Nubian Nation. He was an American musician and a criminal, a writer, all this other stuff. He got a 135-year sentence. It is said that there has never been a case for a child ring of assault as large and as complex in the United States history as the one that this man was involved in. He is currently serving 135 years under the jail. You know how they say put him under the jail? This man is solid concrete beneath the earth, under the jail, serving a 135-year sentence because of the magnitude of assault that he enacted on children, had them lunging onto one another intimately while he watched, as then he lunged into it too, abused boys and girls from early age to teenage, and had an entire community out in the middle of Georgia, right? The Wikipedia page is there. Read it. That there has never been listen, I'm from New York. Sorry. York was arrested May 2002. In 2004, he was convicted on federal charges transporting minors across state lines for the purpose of intimate assault, as well as racketeering and financial reporting.
See, Epstein and them got away with it, y'all. See, this was a black man they caught. They got to make an example out of us. But the white folks are doing the same thing. I'm glad they caught him. Because this is terrible. And basically, Brother Polight is still fighting for him, I just don't get it. That's just terrible. He doesn't want to help this young man, telling him this story about how he's been raped. He's not trying to help this young man at all, man. It's really embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for that young man for his interview. He probably thought he was coming out there to tell his story. He wasn't trying to disrespect Malachi York at all. But what he was trying to do was just tell what happened. And he explained it was somebody that he looked up to that did something wrong and that didn't get their act together. So no matter what they were doing to them, they gave them a chance to stop doing it, but they kept doing it, and then they had to tell. But Brother Polight is supporting it.
Violation. York's case was reported as the largest prosecution for child assault ever directed at a single person in the history of the United States, both in terms of number of victims and number of incidents. Sonetta called Polight baby Dr. York and referenced this girl that people say was 16 when Michael Nowak got with her. I don't like calling him Brother Polight because his name is Nowak. He probably doesn't use it because his government name probably sounds foreign to him. And so I say it because that's what he was born into this world as, Michael Nowak, right? So let's go back. Remember, Sonetta called him baby Dr. York, right? Now we saw the magnitude 135 years beneath the prison. He will never get out in this lifetime. We showed a video the other day of one of Dr. York's victims speaking out and speaking with Polight. Do I need to pull up that video? As a matter of fact, I'll pull up a screenshot of it so that you can see.
House with a family, and then you could recognize when your child is gone.
You mean to tell the world that none of these children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right? I've been touched sexually.
Listen, thank you for watching. Please leave your comments down below. How do you feel about Michael Nowak, AKA Brother Polight?